All right, we are live. You want to say something, Wesley?
No.
You sure? Look right here, Wes. Say hey. You gotta say it right.
Hey. Under the computer.
Yeah, go. You want to use the computer?
Yep.
All right. Anyway, guys, this is the Investor Show. My name is Prince Dykes. I'm your host. I'm coming up to you guys live today. I think I got the chat figured out. I think all the other good stuff. Just a quick little video that you guys probably saw in the description box. Hopefully, you saw it in the description box. Okay, somebody's giving a shout out to Prince Dykes, Brandon R. I got my descriptions a whole lot better right now. So, definitely you guys can listen to me while I say this. As you guys saw it in the description box, let me know if my sound is pretty good. You should be able to hear me on my microphone. I'm kind of stepping up a little bit. I got a microphone. People always said in the past, get your microphone. Brandon Rizzo Turbo, what's going on? But anyway, the reason why I say you should pay your bills before you pay yourself, right? I know a lot of financial experts like Robert Kiyosaki. You see stuff by Warren Buffett, a lot of financial experts out there. They say, hey, you should pay your bills before you pay yourself. And my thing is, when I look at it, I'm not saying that it's wrong. It's up to everybody else. But I want to give... Wes, you got to be quiet while I'm talking, okay? So, anyway, I want to give my spew, and I want to give you my thought process behind it. If I teach my son Wesley, right, to pay himself first, then how would he be able to? How would if he pays himself first before he pays his bills? How would he have the ability to live? For prime example, let's say if I decide I want to save $1,000 a month. For 3 months, I save $1,000 per month. Then the next thing you know, I get an eviction notice, or I can't pay for my car, or I can't pay for my car. Now I can't go to work, or now my mortgage is behind, or my rent is behind. Now I'm being evicted from my house and stuff like that. So I hear a lot of people say, hey, you worked all this time. You worked hard all this time. Why can't you pay yourself first? You know, you should pay yourself first, pay everybody else what's left over. Which is, it sounds great, but does it logically make sense? Makes sense, right? Let's say if I'm someone that, you know, I'm out here and I'm working in a deficit, meaning I don't make enough money. I have more month at the end of my paycheck, right? Pretty much I'm broke. And if I decided, hey, you know what? Instead of paying my bills that I'm supposed to be paying, I want to go ahead and pay my I want to buy myself this or buy myself that or save and invest this and then let my bills go delinquent. I let my bills go delinquent. Now I may lose my car. Now I can't get to work. Or now I can't pay my mortgage. And since I can't pay my mortgage, I can't have a house. Now my credit goes bad. Now I'm in a worse situation than I already was in. My thought process is, hey, if I have to teach someone something, or my advice would be to someone, is to pay your essential bills first. For prime example, I know I need a roof over my head. I know I need to have a car in order to go to work. I know I need the internet in order to have my job. So guess what? I'm going to make sure my essential bills are paid first. Now, if you have things like, I don't know, some gift cards or some credit cards or some credit cards that you owe, maybe you can afford to go delinquent on them, and you can save and invest for yourself in the future. But my thing is, if I had to teach someone one way or the other, I think, hey, why not take care of yourself first? That's being responsible. Personal story. When you look at, most of you guys probably been in these situations. If you have not, good on you. But a lot of people have been in situations to where you had that friend that you let borrow money, and that friend, you let them borrow money and they don't pay you back. And when they get paid, you see them buying clothes and jewelry, going on vacation, and you're looking at them wondering, hey, where's my money? And the person comes to you and give you $50 or $100 or something like that and say, hey, here's some of it. I pay you the rest later. And you're kind of wondering, man, you know, where's the rest of my money? He's supposed to pay me. I let him hold $500 to payday. I gave him the $500, and now I'm worrying about, hey, I paid this person $500 and they gave me $50 back. They're pretty much paying me back when they want to, and they're not paying you back on time. That's usually the thought process of people who pay themselves first. They're like, hey, I worked hard. Yeah, I know I borrowed your money. They borrow your money first. They take your $500 and go do whatever, God knows what. Then when they get paid and it's time to pay you back, now they're looking at you like you're the bad guy, right? They're looking at you saying, man, you know, I've been working hard and I need to take care of this and take care of that. But you have bills too, right? So when you look at people that go into collections and people who have bad credit and stuff like that, they usually have the notion of, hey, let me take care of myself first and I'll take care of everybody else later. In some confines, that can work. When you're working in a surplus, that works fine. A surplus meaning that, hey, once you pay all your bills, you have money left over to save and invest. That works fine. But when you're someone where you know, hey, I'm not going to pay my mortgage and I'm not going to pay my car note, I'm not going to pay on my credit card, I'm going to let my payments go delinquent and stuff like that. That could make sense. Some people do that. I've seen when they know they're going to go into bankruptcy and they're like, hey, well, I'm going to file bankruptcy anyway, so I'm just going ahead and go to delinquent until I file bankruptcy. Those are different situations. Everything is situational. But generally speaking, if I had to teach Wesley, hey, son, do I want to teach him to pay his bills first or pay himself first? I want to teach him to pay his bills first because I feel as though at this time, that's the most responsible route. Because if I say, well, pay some of them and don't pay these, it may not come across as well. I'm going to say, hey, make sure you have a place to stay. Make sure you have a car. Make sure you have food. Make sure you have the necessities to move forward. Don't go delinquent on anything because you want to keep good credit. Then now, once you got good credit, now you can look forward to going out and paying yourself. That's just my thing. I've seen it around the financial industry a lot. Pay yourself first, which is great. I do it at times too. Well, I do it all the time. I pay myself first, but I'm not working in a deficit like most people. And when you're teaching people or people are learning something that are not financially stable, when they're not financially stable, they may take it the wrong way and say, hey, you know what? Let's say someone who's working in a deficit. After they pay all their bills, they had nothing left over. They're like, you know what? Screw that. I'm going to pay myself $500 a month because I read this book and they told me to pay myself first. You pay yourself first. Now your cell phone gets cut off a month or two later. Now your car get repossessed. Now you get evicted from your house or your apartment or wherever you live. Did that make your situation better or worse? Now you got bad credit, or now your credit has gotten even worse because you failed to pay your bills or your loans back on time or whatever the case may be. That could make your situation actually worse. Who is Mayweather Financial Group says LOL. So that's why I look at it. That's just my thought process. You guys can chime in. I'm here live and I will respond back as we go through it. Put all your belongings in trust and have the trust take care of you. I agree with that Mayweather Financial Group that said that put all your belongings in a trust and have the trust take care of you. That's a great way as well. That's a very smart way that he brought up, bringing up a trust. But you know what, Mayweather Financial Group, a lot of people, it's like a basic principle right now today, right? We have people who may have a little bit, or they're just learning about financial literacy, and they have bills. And before you even get to a trust, we got to even get them down to the baby steps, essentially, right? So someone was to tell me today, hey, I want to start investing and I want to start saving, but I have too much money. I don't have that much money left over. What's happening? I don't have that much money left over. So what's happening? And that's what a lot of people always say. I was on a show. I did a show recently, a little bit ago. How long ago was that show? I think it was last week, a week or two ago. And one of the things they were saying, they was like, because when I was teaching Wesley for primary, come here, Wes. Let's see if he can remember. Putting you on the spot. Come on. What's the first thing you do when you get paid?
Pay my bills.
Pay your bills. What's the second thing?
Save.
What?
Save.
Why do you save?
Because emergencies.
Emergencies. After you save, what do you do?
Invest.
Why do you invest?
Because to make money.
To make money, right? So if I had to teach him, Wesley, 6 years old, if I had to teach him, if I was to tell him, hey, pay yourself first, I don't want him to become an adult and to say, hey, you know what? I always wanted these shoes or these cars or this, whatever the case may be. My dad always said, pay myself first. I don't want him to go out there and to misconstrue what I said and pay himself first. You know, and that's why you always hear that notion. I hate to beat that dead horse, but we all know that friend or that person that you let borrow something and they owe you and they're not paying you back. And you're kind of wondering, hey, Susie, John, hey, I let you borrow $500 to payday. And you know, I see you buying clothes and you're shopping and you're doing this and you're taking care of this person and that person, but you didn't give my money. And they're like, oh, okay, well, I got $100 left and here's $50. You're like, what? You just blew the money on this watch and this clothes or whatever the case may be. And the person may be like, man, shoot, I always wanted this. I've been working these last 2 weeks hard. I'm going to take care of myself. I give you $50 this week. The next week I give you $100. The next I just pay you back whenever I feel like it. I don't want that to be the wrong message. I think sometimes if I'm teaching my son that, I don't want him to misconstrue what I'm saying. He understands clearly. I have a bill, pay it. You got your cell phone. You know you need a cell phone. You know you need your car. Well, let's be honest. We don't need anything. We all can survive. But if we're thinking productivity wise, I know I need a cell phone. I know I need a car. I know I need a house. I know I need a roof over my head. I know I need food over my table. Those are necessities. Now, if you got a bunch of other bull crap out there, I can see you maybe skimming back if you're working in a deficit to put something back for yourself. I don't want you just, man, I had to pay back Larry, Susie, and I don't have nothing for myself. I understand that. If you're in that situation, I can see you skimming back. But if you're not in that situation and you owe people, you have things like that, you need to take it. I think that you should take care of yourself first. If I had to teach people and kids, take care of yourself first. And that's what I try to teach Wesley as well. Or other kids when I go, I say, hey, pay your bills first. Now you're able to live. You're good. Loaning money is a bad indication your circle of friends are a burden. You are very right, Mayweather Financial Group, right? And you are in a bad situation where your circle, you'll never go as far as your circle, right? If you have a circle of friends and every time you if you go into a room, I always aim to, when I go into a circle or I go into a room, I go in any type of situation, I always aim to be the brokest person in the room. I mean, not brokest, but you always want to, because think about it, it's like a house. Dr. King told me this, not the Martin Luther King, but Dr. King, that you got Lionel King. And he's been on this show twice. And he's told me something one day. He was like, he compared to real estate. He was like, think about it. If you go into $1 million neighborhood and you buy the cheapest house on the block for $250,000, by you being surrounded by these $1 million houses, it's going to slowly have not a gravitational pull, but it's going to have a reverse gravitational pull and raise the value of your house. Because you're living in $1 million neighborhood. You have a $250,000 house in $1 million neighborhood. So guess what it's going to do? It's going to raise your value. It's the same thing on the opposite end. If you go to a poor neighborhood where all the houses are worth $250,000 and you buy a $5 million house, now those houses around you may have a gravitational pull against you. May pull the value of your house down because your $1 million nice house is in a $250,000 neighborhood. So your circle, like he just said, your circle means a lot. So if you're surrounded by, every time you go somewhere, everybody's like, hey, you're going to pay for everything. And hey, you're the person to borrow. Nothing wrong with taking care of friends and family. But if you're the person, it happens all the time with a lot of NFL athletes. You guys seen a lot of NFL, or you've seen a few NFL, NBA athletes on this show. And that's what a lot of them say, is because in a business, personal, I don't kind of get on topic a little bit. It's kind of personal development of like, hey, I'm live and I love to talk. But in business, when you look at it, as you grow in business, as you guys been following me, you guys been following this channel over the years, you've seen it slowly grow and grow and grow, right? So think about it. As you grow in business, as you grow up in business and personal development, as you become better and better and better, your circle slowly starts to change. The people that you once used to hang out with are not going to be able to understand you anymore. You know, the people, you're not going to have the same interests. As you grow higher and higher and higher, once you start making six figures, your circle is going to change. Once you start to make $250,000, your circle is going to change. You become a millionaire, your circle changes. And as you elevate, your circle just changes. What happens with a lot of athletes, they don't have that growth, they don't have that process that everybody must go through. Like if you want to get a master's degree, it doesn't happen overnight. If you was a pastor, you want to open up a mega church, it doesn't happen overnight. If one day you're thinking about, hey, I want to open up a burger shop and be McDonald's, it doesn't happen overnight. First, you got to start with maybe a food truck, then go to a restaurant, then go to 2 restaurants and expand that way, then turn to a franchise, right? But through that process, you're going to elevate. Your level of knowledge is going to change if you're doing the right thing. Your circle is going to change. Your growth is going to change. Your revenue is going to change. Your neighborhood is going to change. Everything around you is going to start to slowly change. And one day you're going to turn around and you're going to have that franchise of burgers that you always wanted. And you're going to have a whole nother circle of people that you're affiliated with, right? It's the same thing that happens when people are looking around. And not the same thing that happens, but the reverse thing happened with athletes. A lot of them are from poverty-stricken backgrounds. Everybody around them is broke. And boom, overnight, they become an overnight multimillionaire. Circle didn't change. Nothing changed. So now everybody that needs insurance, everybody need a ball or something, you're the go-to guy. You're the go-to guy. You're the go-to guy. You're the go-to guy. And your circle is becoming a burden upon you because most of those NFL athletes don't go through that process. Most of them in high school, they go to college and boom, they're in the NFL, NBA, whatever pro sport they're into, and they still have the same circle of friends. The circle of friends didn't change that much. Like normal people, look at Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett didn't make 99% of his wealth until he was after the age of 50. So think about all the time he went through up to the age of 50, what he learned, what he saw, how his circle changed, how he got into these different businesses and stuff like that. So when he got his wealth, he know how to create more of it. He know how to maintain it because he's been through the BS on the process, right? So anyway, guys, I don't want to sit here and be the dead horse. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Investor Show. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, The Investor Show, Instagram, all of the good stuff. Hit me up on the email if you got any questions. Ask Prince Prince at royalfinancials.com. Ask Prince at royalfinancials.com. I probably won't respond back to you directly, but I will answer your questions live. I will answer your emails live on air, just like I'm doing right now. But anyway, it's my first time doing something. It kind of came out pretty cool. You want to say anything, Wes? You sure? Want to tell everybody bye?
Yeah.
Mayweather Financial Group, thank you for tuning in. Okay,
Bye.
that's good. Peace, guys. You guys be safe.